guys, it is Jack and welcome to a new video. Today we've got Asher here who just rented this awesome lens.
This is the Sigma 18-35 1.8, dubbed the tech YouTuber lens.
This Sigma 18-35 is a beast.
It's actually awesome. It's a wide angle lens with an aperture of f1.8, but it's really nice because a lot of times wide angle lenses, especially this one you're looking at right now, the Canon 10 to 18 millimeter lens, it shoots on an f4.5 aperture when at 10 millimeters. Well, this guy can go all the way down to 1.8, meaning with this guy you probably can't get a blurry background, but on this lens you get some really nice blurry shots, even when you're shooting a really big subject like that's really wide.
Another huge advantage to having a wider aperture is low light photography. For example, I rented this because I'm filming a bar mitzvah party, and a lens like this or even a lens like this would not do for any of that kind of thing. They just do not have a wide enough aperture. But this lens or something like the 50 millimeter lens that we've reviewed countless times on this channel with a wider aperture would be really good for low light because they let in much more light. The reason this is dubbed the tech YouTuber lens is because of all the different categories it fulfills. It has a wide aperture, meaning you can get that nice blurry background in the background of all your B-roll. It's wide enough that you could film yourself talking. This checks all the boxes.
So what's really nice is you can kind of just carry this lens. You can use it for your vlogging lens, although it is a little bit zoomed in. But if you're on full frame, it's gonna be a lot wider. So either way, this should probably work as being wide enough to use as a vlogging lens, and you can also zoom in a little bit. You got a pretty nice flexible zoom range and get your nice cool B-roll wherever it is you are. So this is kind of the only lens you need as a vlogger and as a YouTuber, especially when you're just starting out.
Although this comes at a price, and not just the cost, but this thing is heavy. This is heavier than my dog.
This is a really expensive lens.
Canon T5i can be found for like $300 to $400 right now. This is a $700 to $800 lens.
Yeah.
And another thing you could do with this lens that we actually don't have here, they sell an external lens cap that you can screw onto it, that you can actually change some of the settings of the lens on your computer. That is something no other lens manufacturer, even Canon, does. So you really don't have a purpose for buying Canon's alternative to this exact same lens.
It's also alternative to a lot of kind of cheapo Canon lenses because it's got this really nice focus dial. So you can see when I actually move this, you'll see the focus dial moving. So if you actually use a tape measure and you actually measure how far something is away from your camera, then you can nail the focus distance absolutely perfectly just by looking at these numbers to see exactly how far away that thing should be from your lens to get it perfectly in focus, which is super helpful and something you definitely won't find on a lens at a lower price point. So yeah, this guy definitely isn't budget, but in the end, you're probably going to get a lot of bang for your buck with this lens. I mean, this lens can do the same thing that maybe 3 cheaper Canon lenses could do, and if you add up those 3 lenses in this lens, those 3 are probably going to be more expensive, while this guy is going to be a lot easier to travel with. So it does have its pros and cons, but honestly, I would call it the perfect YouTuber lens. But before we go, I have one more thing I want to compare it to. On this entire video, this second camera has been shooting on the 18 to 55 millimeter lens, which is the kit lens that comes with your camera if you have a Canon camera.
And by no means is this a bad lens whatsoever. If you're starting out, the 18 to 55 is a great lens.
But you might be thinking, well, I already have an 18 to 55, which covers the focal lengths of 18 to 35. It actually has even more focal lengths. So what is the point of this lens? So let's do a quick comparison. This shot was shot on the 18 to 55 millimeter lens at 18 millimeters. And on 3, 2, 1, this was shot on the 18 to 35 millimeter lens at 18 millimeters. This was shot on the 18 to 35 millimeter lens at 35 millimeters. And this was shot on the 18 to 55 millimeter lens at 35 millimeters. So you can see how in the end, while they do have the same focal lengths, this guy's going to be a lot higher quality. Comment down below if you guys see a difference. But hey, in the end, if you've got an 18 to 55 millimeter lens and you're just a beginner, don't get this. But if you want to step up your videos game, this guy is awesome, and dare I call it the new king of B-roll. So guys, that is pretty much it for this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like. Also comment down below what you did think, and also comment if you had ever even heard of this lens. And if you want to see more of Asher stuff, you should definitely go check out his Instagram. He has some of those really cool fancy Instagram shots that I can never get. And I will see you guys next time. I'm Jack.
I'm Asher.
Peace out.